And welcome back. The Committee for Hispanic Children and Families is a not-for-profit organization combining direct service with policy work, which amplifies minority voices at the local, state, and national levels to advocate for education equity. The organization provides programs reaching underserved low-income families throughout New York City and the home-based child care providers who serve them. We're pleased now to be joined by two very special guests. Joining us now are the Committee for Hispanic Children and Families Chief Program Officer, Ingrid Chungata, and then the Director of Policy, Danielle Demeuse. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us, Daryl.
Thank you. And so I'll start off first with you, Ingrid. So for those that may not be so familiar with the organization, I gave a little bit of an intro, but take us a little bit further in.
So the Committee for Hispanic Children and Families, and we are using the acronym CHCF, was founded in 1982 out of the need to provide quality child care services to children and families in the city of New York, and to create opportunities for people to come together to advocate for those services. And we've been doing that job ever since, and we have expanded our program and recently partnering with the Department of Education and the network program. So we are providing services in the Bronx with family child care providers.
And Danielle, for yourself as well, you're working on the policy side. Talk to us a little bit about policy and the work that you do.
Sure. Just to kind of add on to what Ingrid was saying, our history is really rooted in focus on culturally responsive and linguistically responsive services, and sustaining those services and for our families and communities. And so as we've evolved in our programming and expanded our services to early childhood, to youth development, and into advocacy, we really have that as a sustained effort that we fight for and really try to push our state and city leaders on and how they communicate and elevate resources to our families and our communities. So in the policy side of it, we additionally expand out our partnerships with many community-based organizations and community partners around not only those pieces, but the services we offer, sustaining investments in after-school programming and access to high-quality, affordable childcare. And we also have a component of intersectionality. We really understand that families have a lot of other pieces that are intersecting with their day-to-day lives that drive towards success for children in learning spaces. So we work around housing access, food access, immigration supports, all of these different pieces that really ensure a thriving family experience so that children can really show up in educational spaces to achieve their dreams and pursue their skills and talents. So.
And so tell me a little bit about how you're able to actually reach your clientele. We talk about the clientele that you serve, but how are you able to reach this population?
Sure. So we're on the ground. We're a direct service organization. The strong majority of the work that we do as an organization is outside of the policy realm and the advocacy realm. We actually are about to open up our Bronx-based office on June 2nd, and that'll be a physical space for families to be able to go to get access to childcare, to navigate subsidy access and find programs that have capacity. And it's also a space for folks to connect with our community empowerment team, which is where you really see supports around those intersectional pieces, housing systems, right? Food access systems. And we also offer through that department, immigration supports, know your rights, citizenship workshops, things of that nature. So it's a physical presence in our communities that people can connect with. And then we also have physical presence in a couple of schools. We work with 3 schools in the Bronx, directly providing after school programming and extended learning time programming. And through that avenue as well, we build very strong relationships with the families served in that space to again connect them to those intersectional resources and supports that might better help them feel as powerful and strong as a family unit.
Yeah. Ingrid, from your lens, what are you seeing amongst Hispanic children and families? What are some of the biggest needs that maybe we're not so familiar with?
So one of the biggest needs we have seen right now, it's the need for mental health. And we have really taken this on as an organization to really identify within our providers and within the programs that we support, ways to work with the providers and the families to secure services. So one of the things that we have seen is during the pandemic and after, now that we kind of going back to life as normal, that we have seen the needs for families to really understand what's out there when it comes to mental health services, and also secure services for their children. So we have seen that children are coming into our programs with a very limited vocabulary, having exhibiting challenging behaviors because they've been at home for so long. So one of the things that we're currently doing is working with our providers, identifying these needs within their families, and working with the families to secure services either through private identity or through other sources.
Yeah. Danielle, I know that Ingrid talked about really dealing with COVID and really coming out of that, the season of isolation where families really had to deal with a lot. And when we're talking about learning and education, we know that there was that technology gap, not to mention just the whole education gap, having to be able to learn at home. And sometimes for everybody, that's not so easy. So talk to us a little bit about what you like to see in area policy and also in area sustainability to help to make your constituents a little bit better.
Sure. And I mean, absolutely. One of the pieces that all of the community-based organizations, certainly CHCF, but those that we partner with and work with in advocacy spaces through the pandemic, just did phenomenal work. On the drop of a hat, we had to switch gears and be able to transition our programming automatically to this remote reality. So our services really stepped up to meet those gaps in access. And to the technology piece, language access continues to be a huge issue. Getting out forms, informing families in their language and their home language of resources that are available, including access to the tablets, the devices, helping families navigate those processes to access those resources was a huge piece of what we were doing in addition to our contracted services around after school and beyond. And to Ingrid's point, the mental health piece, we incorporated a lot of mental health components and ways to just bring families and children together with our staff to do dance classes, cooking classes, and we sent kits out with games and coloring materials and things like that, because it was really about trying to sustain the happiest space we could all be in during that time. And now as we've transitioned back, it's really been a focus about how we are thoughtfully investing as a city the tremendous resources that were given to us through the federal government to be meeting those needs, right? Making sure that our teachers not only are being supported and helped with their own mental health, but so that they can meet our children and our families where they're at, and make sure that they're transitioning and getting back to a space where they can learn and thrive again. So that's been a huge part of our expanded, program modeling to really respond to this moment. Policy-wise, I mean, we're really focused on those dollars. How are we making sure that they're being utilized in the most impactful way to respond to the realities of the moment and help our families and our children get back to that space of healthy, thriving, can learn going forward. So that's really where our focus is at on our advocacy. And one piece in particular, we've had a vested interest in a partnership in past around community schools as a really key model for delivering wraparound services integrated inside of the school space. So another piece that we're really focusing on is how the city will continue to invest in community schools in those types of models that are proven, demonstrable, right? Evidence that they impact our families and can meet that holistic picture of needs. So that's really where our focus is this year.
I know a lot of work that you do is really about making people aware through advocacy, and I know I would love for you to share a little bit about the advocacy workshops, but you're also building community. You're building the opportunity for people to learn more about it, and then also to have a creative voice in being able to speak on behalf of Hispanic children and families.
Right. So we are in the midst of starting a new program. It's a leadership academy where we want to really mobilize a grassroots movement when people identify their needs within the community and have a voice that they could amplify the needs of that community. So we will focus, it will be training platform where community members could join us and through a process learn about housing regulations or the law, immigration services, food acquisition, tenant and landlord rights. So through this platform, we want to be able to give the community their own voice, right? So that they be able to support one another in their needs. So if there's a neighbor who's going through any issues, there's someone in their neighborhood who could step up and say, you know, I'm here and I could support you. So we want to be able to give tools so that our communities could really strive on their own with the support organizations like us that will be behind them, providing them with these tools that they need.
Yeah, with that work, we're really excited to kind of put a system in place to do that. We've been doing that even beyond the launch of this with our direct program services. We've really kind of driven towards how can we bring families and children to spaces where decisions are being made. And so part of it is really just breaking down this very wonky bureaucracy of how the state and the city and the federal government function, and introducing our families and getting them connected with their leaders, the ones who are up there representing their voices in their communities as these really important decisions that affect their lives are being made. So even before, in pre-pandemic life, we used to get on buses and we brought parents and children up to Albany to have really thoughtful conversations about the value of after school, of having high quality, culturally responsive childcare, not only for children, for healthy development, but also so families can work and know that their kids are in safe spaces. So we're really excited to continue that work and kind of resume back to this space where hopefully we can go back and travel and visit with our leaders, because we need to be seen as we're collective partners for our communities and making sure that we're all making decisions that are thoughtful and will have the greatest impact for everybody. So that's really exciting work.
And talk about impact for everybody. I know the Bronx is excited because it looks like, you know, you'll be expanding services right through the Bronx. Please share with us a little bit about the work that'll be happening right here in our borough.
We already have 3 school sites that we are physically present in doing after school services and extended learning time. We're at PS 226, PS 59, and PS MS 226. And actually with PS MS 226, you'll see that we are partnering with the city to continue offering Summer Rising this year. So that's really important work to make sure that we're getting academic supports during the summer, as well as enrichment activities for our kiddos. And then we're opening up our office, which is really going to be the hub for our family child care network. And so that is something that we are in partnership with the DOE on. We support a group of family child care providers, home-based providers delivering licensed high quality care and services, and making sure that families are getting connected to those services. So those 2 pieces are great pieces that families can keep in mind. We support also through our community empowerment team, family access to those services. So calling us up, coming into our office, you'll be connected directly with our wonderful team to navigate any and all services that one might need, as well as resources beyond that in that intersectional capacity. I don't know if Ingrid wants to add anything.
This is an amazing time. This is the first time that we're going to have a physical office where people could really come in and get information, especially our family child care providers, who we support to a team of educational specialists, health monitors who go and really support the providers and provide to them the tools they need, right, to be able to educate our little ones. We understand the importance of early childhood education. We understand the city does a great job in maintaining the programs when it comes to health and safety, but one of the pieces that we take that is so valuable is that educational piece, to really incorporate high quality education within these programs. We're also having a fair, a community resource fair this June 11 at PS 59, where we will have different resources available and information for the communities to join us and hear all about the services CHCF has to offer.
Beautiful. And so for people who want more information, how do they just go about doing that?
Well, we have our website, chcfinc.org, and we're also active on social media, so you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, to see some of the fun things that we're up to.
Well, certainly we want to thank you both, Danielle and Ingrid, for being with us here on the show. Continued success with the work that you're doing, and we want to thank you for being with us and continue to be great partners. Thanks much.
Thank you so much for having us.
All righty. And we want to let you know that we've got more on the social justice front. Don't go anywhere. We're going to continue in a few minutes, or I should say a few seconds.